Well done this morning. I noticed that you were comfortable, natural, self-aware, humble, and very playful in your speech. Then I wanted to tell you 3 things that I really loved about your speech this morning, and then 2 areas that I noticed where maybe you could make some changes, if you want to incorporate them. The first thing, and this is what I noticed about you, and I really love it. The very first thing was when you came up and everyone was applauding, and you said, "More, more, more." What I really appreciate about that is that you know that you want to bring the audience energy up, and that's a very effective way to do it. But you also have that humble, playful spirit where it's really fun, and it accomplishes the trick, but it shows your confidence as well, that you can engage with the audience that way and bring up the energy before you even get started. Your body language was excellent as well. When you're talking about the sash, the blue sash, I could just totally envision it like it was right there, and the words you used to describe it. Your engagement with the audience was also wonderful. When Sterling responded to your question, you just pulled it right in and kept going with it, like you were planning on him saying that. So those are some things that I really, really enjoyed about your speech. You also were very clear with your topic, brought in a lot of research, and followed a very, very clear path for us to understand exactly what you're talking about. There were 2 areas that I noticed that you could possibly make a couple changes. And the first one was in your pace of speaking. When you were having us envision our potential acronym, or thinking about experiences where we're in leadership, I think a little pause would have been great for us to actually think a little harder about a leadership experience we're in and really think through that a little bit. I think the second suggestion that I have would be to potentially pare down the content of your speech, to pull out something and focus on what do I want the audience to walk away with, and build that up a little bit more. For example, that could look like potentially building more around the acronym HEDO, and telling us what impact that has on you today as a leader, and what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and how you might work with that. Or potentially having us create our own acronym as we're listening. What are some things that we could incorporate leadership qualities for us? And then the last bit I would say is potentially think of a different ending, not using thank you. Something that really draws back to the purpose of your message. Overall, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Very true. Good comments. Our next evaluator is Tom Offen, commenting on Colony's speech. Please welcome Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Colin, thank you for your speech this morning. I want to point out a few areas that you excelled in, a few areas that I want to work on a bit more, and then obviously suggestions for your next speech. First of all, I think you have strong visuals. I think your use could have been better, but we'll get to that a bit later. I think you have an excellent basis of knowledge for what you're presenting on. You knew exactly what you're talking about. I think that enhanced the speech very, very highly. A cool little fun fact, I really enjoyed how you mentioned the fun fact about refrigerators. That was really fun to talk about. Americans spend more time shopping refrigerators than they do planning their retirement. I think your organization was awesome too. I like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 model that you chose. I thought that was an excellent way to organize your speech. Also, to go along with the basis of knowledge that you had a large set of confidence. You knew what you're talking about, so therefore it was easy to be confident there. And I think that really enhanced your speech a lot. Also, I believe you met your purpose that your speech was really designed for. I know you said it was in the context of all lunch and learns, and I think that really your speech meets that purpose very, very well. A few areas of improvement I'd like to focus on for you. First one is slowing down. You seem to talk quickly. I have that same issue too. It's a hard one, especially when you know so much that you know. When it's a topic that you know so much about, it's easy to get ahead of yourself and your words get ahead of your mind. One thing that helps doing that is taking intentional pauses when you speak. And I didn't really notice any fillers. Did he have a lot of fillers or?
He had 3 ums and 1 so.
So a good strategy for that is in place of those, just don't speak at all. That helps your mind kind of catch up to where you're at. Like just now, I was about to say but I didn't speak because I needed to. I also thought there was a lot of information flying at the audience all at once. You had the visuals, which I think were really good visuals. I just wish they were used a bit better. For your PowerPoint, or I'm sorry, your board here, I don't think a PowerPoint here would have been bad because I think you honestly could have had one slide where you just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that would have been easier to read and better for the audience to look at. Also, I believe that the information, it's a lot of information on the piece of paper. I think they're very useful, but maybe that's how you end your speech. So today I brought you these 2 pieces of information for you guys to take home and learn from. Also, very small comment here is the Roth IRA question that you pose to the audience. I wouldn't just assume that everyone knows what that is, and I wouldn't even ask, like, does everyone know what that is? I would just explain it. Okay. So that's something I think would improve the quality of your speech. And with that, I want to give you my notes, so you have that
Excellent. Very good. It's a very educational speech. I appreciate that, Colin. For our next evaluation, we have Bruce evaluating Mary T. Please welcome.
Well, with much exuberance, I will give a evaluation of Mary T. This morning she took on a challenge. She had a leadership pathway that she had to do a journal entry, keep a journal for 2 weeks. And good or bad, luck of the draw, she has a very stressful period of time that she's doing this journal entry. So she had to give us a summary of, she found out that her leadership might not be necessarily as good as it could be. That it fell back into, as she called it even, the backup mode. And I can tell you from some personal experiences, yes, backup mode is not very enjoyable sometimes, but this is the challenge of learning that you're taking on. And I love that you explained to us, well, what is your job? You kind of describe that. You describe some of the things going on in your personal life right now, so you can go back through and explain why it's such an impact. And you did a great job on that. You were jerky though, because I could tell that there's a lot of thought that you went into, and you might be writing a lot in this journal, which might be a good thing to do. And I would advise even keeping track of it for a while longer to find out that maybe here in 6 months that maybe actually your leadership has changed, and to reflect back. Though I love the way you went through and you summarized at the end saying, well, I am learning some things here, that I have a support system, that in order to be an effective coach, I have to come back and be an effective coach myself. So you summarize some of it saying, well, yes, you started out here saying your background, some of the difficulties you have going on right now, but then you came back through and said, but I'm learning. And I love the way you did that and the way you incorporated us into your present situation, which I hope that it gets through quickly also, along with everybody else's fun situations that have been going on. Great job.
What did it say say in Germany? Prost! Sure, that'll work. You know, one of the things that I've learned about this club is that there are certain ways to run the meeting. And in the prior club that I belonged to in San Diego, the way the evaluations were run, after the evaluations were done, then the Toastmaster would come up and call for reports. But here, according to the schedule, I guess that's my job as a general evaluator. So, all right! I'm going to call for a timer's report on the evaluations.
All three evaluators qualified.
Get your votes in. Everybody write down who your favorite evaluator was and pass that along to our vote counter Angela. Awe counter report. Natalie, right?
Correct.
I'm learning. Very good. Please give us a report.
All right, for awe counting today, there was several of these. Not sure exactly what you guys are normally used to seeing on the awe counter, so this is how I approached this. So I know I'm saying so right here, so I need to add a few so's for myself. Coley began the meeting with the word of the day. He had one and 3 so's. As awe counter, I've probably had more than I've even counted because I've been doing them and not counting and talking at the same time. So I had 1 and 2 so's. Craig had a so, Carol had 2 Brian had 2 Jessica had 3, as she gave us all of those great artists. Now I need to go back and listen to some playlists. We also had Athena with a couple of Colin had 3 and a so during his speech. Tom had 1. Mary T had 1. And the other, I put and because you used the word and instead of pausing as your evaluator was describing when Jessica was speaking about your evaluation. Kelly had 2 Anouk had 2 as well. Bruce had 2 and a so.
Excellent. Good job. Strong work. First time awe counter. For our grammarian report, I'll call upon Carol Newhouse.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Bruce, you use she's been doing, instead of using your words and saying doing, you did the same thing with going. Instead of saying going, you say going. So take your words and lengthen them out a little bit and use them fully, okay?
Fully.
You also said learning how it and then went to taking it on rather than learning how and what you are taking on. Brian, I love the word quantitatively.
Quantitatively.
Quantitatively, I thought that was good. And Athena, she said, true, exuberant Athena fashion. I thought that was nice. And that was it.
All right. Very good. And there's no doubt that this club is very exuberant. And in fact, we had a very exuberant word today. Not like our exuberant colleague. This exuberant word of the day.
You almost got to the win with all those uses of exuberant. I want to say one little anecdote about beer and something I'm exuberant about. So, have you all heard about the Radler? Do you know what that is? It's a beer mixed with a flavored fruit soda. So that was developed actually in Germany in the early 1900s when a lot of bicyclists went to one bar and they didn't have enough beer, but they had this soda that they couldn't get rid of. So they decided, let's put both of these things together and double our beer quantity so that all these cyclists can ride home happy. So I thought, I am exuberant about both cycling and beer. So I thought I'd give you that little quick anecdote. Bruce pulled it out on the count for exuberance with his 1-5 exuberant pull of the word. Sterling had 1 use, Natalie had 4, Carol had 2, Craig had 2, Luis had 1, Athena had 3, Brian had 6, or Bruce had 6, Brian had 1, Dan got up to 5,
All right.
and then Mary T had 3. So thanks everyone for being exuberant today.
That was an excellent choice of word because A, we could all incorporate that, and B, we are actually a very exuberant crowd. And that's a great segue into my general evaluation of the meeting. One thing that I've noticed about this club in particular, and perhaps that lends to the success of this club with all these stinking ribbons we have, that we are a very exuberant club. We have a lot of energy, and there's no doubt in my mind that that is why we are such a good and successful club. I've been to many a club where, actually all of the other clubs I've been to have all struggled with membership. Their Toastmasters has a kind of a goal of 20 people to try to get to, and generally you're struggling because you get your normal attrition of people who move on to other things or can't come to the meetings anymore, but this club does not have that problem. And I think it's because of this exuberance. Thank you for that word. The timing of the meeting, I'm going to try to make this short because we are running a little late, and that is a Toastmaster function to try to keep a meeting on time. So I'm going to ask Brian, as part of the role of a Toastmaster, to keep the meeting on time.